Hi, my name is Steve Stein, and welcome to my second installment of videos for Guitar World and Lessonface.com. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking down the essential blues basics for you to truly understand how to get a cool and effective blues solo. All right, to get started, the first thing we need to understand are two scales. We need to understand the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic, and then most importantly, how those two overlap each other to create effective blues. So the first thing I want you to understand, we're just going to be playing in the key of A here to keep things nice and easy. I'm going to go to the 5th fret of the 6th string with my first finger, and I'm going to play the minor pentatonic scale. And you've probably seen this before, but let me roll through it really quick. I'm going 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 5-7, 5-8, 5-8. Okay? So we're going to take that scale, that minor pentatonic, okay, and we're going to implement major pentatonic along with that. Now, for most people, major pentatonic is moving down 3 frets from the minor. So if I'm on the 5th fret right here with my first finger, I would move back 1, 2, 3 frets, which puts me on the 2nd fret, and I would play the exact same shape. Okay. Now, if I go to the first finger, though, I'm actually going to F sharp. So most people would probably try and emphasize the 5th fret of the 6th string with my pinky. Okay. So if we think about this, we're going to start with just understanding the scale concept, and then I'll give you some ideas of some things to do within that. Okay. So we're playing over a blues chord progression. We've got something that sounds similar to this. Something like that. So the first thing we learn how to do usually is we go into this A minor pentatonic scale and we start learning kind of how to meander, how to move around and make some rhythms. Okay, using a host of different, techniques like vibratos and bends and all sorts of different things. But the main thing is getting comfortable with being able to move through that scale to begin with. Okay, if you're not comfortable seeing it, you can't play it. If you're not comfortable playing through it comfortably with a guitar pick, whether you're doing down picking or alternate picking or whatever it is that you're doing, you're still not really going to be able to effectively use it. So the first thing to do is to visualize it, really be able to see it. The second thing is practice going through it over and over and over, for instance, with a metronome. You know, you could play them all down. You could play them alternate picking, or what have you, to gain some strength and some stamina through that scale. Then we also have the major pentatonic sitting right here. Now, with both of those scales, the big thing I want to think about is where are my A's, right? Because I'm in the key of A. So in the minor pentatonic, I've got an A on the 5th fret of the 6th string. I've got an A on the 7th fret of the 4th string. And I've got an A on the 1st string, 5th fret. So those are kind of the points of action. Those are the places I'm trying to go to at this point. Okay, when I'm over here in the major pentatonic, I've got an A with my pinky on the 6th string. I've got an A with my first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, right here. And then I've got one with my pinky on the 1st string. Of course, these two right here, the 5th frets, are available both in the minor pentatonic and in the major pentatonic. Okay? But here's the trick. What you want to learn how to do is to be able to see those two scales both individually and hybrid or together. Okay? So let's say this is how I learned how to play blues when I first started learning how to do this. What I did was my teacher told me, okay, so whenever you're playing over a 1 chord, like the A in the key of A, you solo minor pentatonic. And then when you go to the 4 chord, you solo major pentatonic, right? Or whatever. And then you go back and so on. So I spent a long time thinking that that's the way it was, is all you did was whenever you were over a 1 chord, you played minor pentatonic, and when you were over a 4 chord, you played major. Now, granted, it works. I mean, you can do that, but there's so much more that you could do. So this was the big secret for me, is when I learned how to utilize both the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic at the same time. And that's what I want to show you. So we understand that we're playing the first position, minor pentatonic, and if we want to play major pentatonic, we simply take that first position and we move down 3 frets. but we still look for the A's within that shape. We're not looking for F sharp minor, or excuse me, F sharp, the note F sharp. The second step is, though, is we want to be able to see both the major and the minor in the same position. Right now, minor is sitting here and major's over here. We want to get them together. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build the second position onto the first position. Okay, and this will be in your tablature as well. So the second position, if I'm playing an A minor pentatonic, I'm playing 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, and so on. The second position connects onto this side of the first position. So the second position looks like this. It looks like 8, 10, 7, 10. Okay, here's the first position. Here's the second position. Okay, so what we want to do is first I want to show you how they are the same thing. If I play the first position like this. See how it's the same notes? I'm just playing it in another position. So if we thought about that, if I took both those positions, the first position and the second position, and I shifted the entire thing down 3 frets, the second position of major pentatonic is going to be sitting over the first position of minor pentatonic. This is the key. So I want you to see this. Here's my first position minor pentatonic. Here's my second position major pentatonic. Okay, so what you need to do is truly visualize the first position of minor and the second position of major over that same position. So instead of simply playing minor pentatonic every time you want to play blues or, you know, old school rock and roll or whatever it might be, now what you can do is you can combine those two scales together. So let me show you a couple of ideas. Let's say, for instance, on the first 2 strings, if we think about it, minor pentatonic would be 5s and 8s. Major pentatonic would be 5s and 7s. Minor, major. So let's combine them. Instead of playing 5, 7, 5, 7 or 5, 8, 5, 8, let's do this. Let's go 5, 7, 5, 8. And already you can hear the blues element. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back up to the 7th fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to make a little lick here. Then I'm going to head over to the 1st string, 5th fret, back there. So I have, see how I'm combining minor and major together. And then I'm going to end with a bend, a minor pentatonic bend, on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So I get this, which is really kind of fun because you're not just stuck playing the same notes over and over and over. You can start visualizing different shapes. Now at this stage you might not exactly understand everything, but that's okay. You're playing more by ear and by feel. You're learning to visualize your fretboard. You've got lots of time to learn what is what and why it works and all those sorts of different things. But the first thing for you to do is really just start exploring and having some fun. So let's say I kept going here. So I'm visualizing, again, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, and so on. And then I've got the major pentatonic sitting right there. But I'm going to keep going. So what I'm going to do, the next thing which is really important for us is on the 3rd string, we're going to play this, which is the 5th fret of the 3rd string hammering to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So I'm going from minor pentatonic to major pentatonic. And then I'm just going to head down to an A. You see how much more bluesy and more rock and roll that sounds? And even modern country than just playing minor pentatonic or major pentatonic. When you combine these elements together, here I've got 5, 6, 5, 7, 5, 8. Sounds pretty cool, okay? So I want you to just think about that. Now you could play, as I said earlier, you could split them and simply play minor pentatonic and then play major pentatonic and then at some point play them together, okay? And there's all kinds of creative things that you can do if you stop and think about it. So I'm going to give you just kind of a hybrid idea of what you could mess around with, which is kind of fun. So let's say we started off on the A on the 6th string. I'm going to start with my middle finger though. So I'm going to play that. And then on the next string here, I'm going to go to the 4th fret of the 5th string, then the 7th fret of the 5th string. And then on the next string, the 4th string, I'm going to play 5 to 7. So I started off playing just an A, but this next string would have been major pentatonic, next string minor pentatonic, and then the next string I'm going to play, I could do all kinds of things, but I'm going to do the minor to major, the 5 to 6, and then 5 7, and then 5 8. So it looks like this. You see? So I've got my structure of minor that I could play, and then all of a sudden I could hop into this. Then maybe I go major pentatonic. But then I break out back into minor pentatonic. So the true state of playing modern blues, and certainly some old school blues as well, is learning how to combine both minor pentatonic and major pentatonic together, okay? So the first step, the basic step for you, is to learn how to C minor, C major, okay? And then put those two together. C the A minor pentatonic, C the A major pentatonic, and then start hybriding them together. Start seeing them both at the same time. If you know all 5 of your positions, you don't just have to play it here, you can do it anywhere you want. Okay? It's just a good place to start if you've never done this before. And all of a sudden, those notes that don't match each other from minor and major pentatonic are going to stick out. Okay? They're going to shine, and you're going to see those and go, okay, well, this is pretty neat. So instead of just going, I can go. There's just all kinds of great stuff. So let's start with that, okay? Have you start exploring those. If you need to get a hold of me, you have any questions about anything, you can always contact me through lessonface.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So this is the first step in our exploration of this blues concept, of beginning blues. So take care, practice hard, and let me know if you have any questions.